Well, hello there, friends. It's Amy Frillici from the Gathering Inkspiration Stamp Studio. And today we have this really fun pig card for you today. Oh my gosh, this little piggy is so cute. Now, this particular sentiment that I used says, "You make me happy." But I want to show you all of the sentiments in this stamp set. It is called, actually, I'm just going to grab the stamp set. So it's called This Little Piggy is the name of the set. And let's look at the other sentiments that are on here. There's a little pig right here that says hogs and kisses. And then this little guy right here, it says this little piggy, and you could say says thanks on the inside, or maybe loves you. And then they've got like those, can you see, like little smooches, like little pig smooches right there, little lip smackers. And then here's the sentiment that we're using, the "you make me happy." And then another really fun one, getting kind of a glare in there, sorry about that. It says she believed she could, and then up here is probably the inside where you'd say so she did. So anyway, just a really cute stamp set. It is, I will show you because let's see, it's in our annual catalog, the 2017-18 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, on page 48 of our catalog, because it's actually kind of a part of a whole animal suite of stamp sets that we have. So there's that stamp set that we're using called This Little Piggy, and then there's another one. Can I get it? Get it into the camera there. It's called Bella and Friends with all the little doggies, and then another one if you're a kitty cat lover that's called Pretty Kitty. So just a couple of really cute, kind of playful, fun stamp sets. And like I said, I've chosen to use this little piggy on the card that I'm going to show you how to make today. So let's see, this is not a suite of products. I do that a lot, where it's the whole 2-page spread in the catalog and kind of gives you everything that you need to put a cute card together. So this one you had to kind of, I guess, think about it a little bit more, but I'm loving this gingham. This is Night of Navy gingham ribbon. So that kind of helped make that easy too. The pink obviously is kind of inspiration from our pink pig, and then the navy, so I decided to use a navy card base, and then also, just in case I forget, put a piece of white cardstock on the inside of your card so that you can write in here, because the navy is so dark. Obviously if you try to write on the navy, it would be very difficult to see. So anyway, why don't we go ahead and get started? I think the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to get our embossing kind of done and out of the way right now. So I'm going to move all these other pieces out of the way. I've got my pink. This is the new powder pink cardstock, one of our new ink colors, and we are going to emboss it with, this is called the Pinewood Planks Dynamic Textured Impression Embossing Folder. What a huge mouthful. Basically, what this means is it's a really thick, kind of detailed embossing folder. So thick meaning like it's a lot thicker than our standard embossing folders, and then it makes, to me, I say it makes like really deep and different levels of impression. So where our original embossing folders, I think, just kind of made one level of impression, these kind of, you know, some is raised a little bit higher and then some of them go a little bit lower. So that's why I think it's so thick, is so that it can kind of create those levels of embossing. Well, oh my goodness, let's see. So why don't we go ahead and get started? That siren is going to come right by the house. I apologize. I never really thought that I would need to close the windows. It's a Sunday afternoon as I'm filming this video, and it's been super quiet around here. And then literally a police officer just went like zooming by the house. So I apologize. Distracted me a little bit too. Anyway, hopefully everybody's okay. Okay, back to the card. We are using our Big Shot. We're using our Big Shot platform. I am using the embossing folder, like I said, the Pinewood plank, super thick. I put this in, I want it to, the wood grain to kind of go vertical. So I put it in, but obviously this is wide enough that if you wanted the wood grain to go horizontal on your cardstock, you could do it either way. So that's kind of a good idea on Stampin' Up's part to design it that way. So you could go vertical or horizontal with your wood planks. And then because this embossing folder is so thick, you only need one clear cutting plate to go right on top. So you use the platform, your embossing folder with your paper inside, and then one clear cutting pad on top, and that is all you need. So we are going to crank this handle and get this guy embossed. and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. So I'm gonna scoot the big shot out of the way, and we'll get all these pieces out of the way too. Clunk, clunk. But check this out. I always think this is so fun. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? The embossing that it does on there. Very, very cool. Okay, so now I think we are going to do our stamping. I like to kind of get everything done, and then we'll put the card together at the very end. So we are going to use our basic black ink. And you know what? Why do I always forget these things? I'm going to give you sizes of all of the pieces of paper that we're using right now because we're not cutting anything. So let me back up and do that before we do the stamping. So as usual, we've got our 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. If you can see that, we've got it lined up here. So 8.5 by 11 inches. We cut it in half at 5.5 inches, and then we scored it in half along the 8.5 side at 4 1/4. So that makes our nice crisp fold. Always like to do that on our cards. That pink, the powder pink piece of paper that we're going to layer on top of our card is graduated in 1/4 inch. So it measures 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. And then same thing with this whisper white piece. You can see that lines up. That goes on the inside of the card too. So the white and the pink, 4 by 5 1/4, both of those are. Then the little frame for our pig measures 3.5 by 2 3/4. And then this is Night of Navy cardstock. Then this, we're actually using the watercolor paper. So this one, we cut it in 1/4 inch as well. So this one measures 3 1/4 by 2.5. And you can see how that's going to fit very nicely right around there too. So those are all the dimensions that you need to make this card as well. So now we can use our basic black Archival ink pad, and we're going to ink up our stamp. Okay, so this one I'm going to tap really well. Now this cardstock, the watercolor paper, super thick. I cannot remember, you know, there's like a poundage. That sounds funny. Anyway, I don't know what the weight is of this paper, but this paper is, I don't know, 3 or 4 times thicker, I would say. So I want to make sure this is inked up really well, and you can hear that's just kind of pounding along there, trying to make sure that it's good. Because when I stamped this before, when I was making it earlier, even though I felt like I inked it up really well, it was still a little bit faint. So hopefully I'm not pushing too hard. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. It's maybe a little bit, could be a little bit darker than happy, but I'm okay with that. So we're gonna say we're good, we're happy with that one. I'm gonna move that out of the way. Now we are going to use, where's my box of watercolor pencils? They are right here. So we are using our watercolor pencils. I've actually already pulled out the 3 colors that we're gonna use today. We are using Calypso Coral on the pig himself, herself, and then Old Olive, I'll even show you that. We're gonna just color in that little leaf right there. There we go. So we're gonna color him in with the Old Olive, and then we're gonna use our Daffodil Delight just inside our daisy flower right here. So we're just gonna kind of add a little bit of color inside there. And then the one that will take a little while longer will be our pig. And you know, the kind of neat thing is it doesn't have to be totally colored in, because when you go to kind of shade this in, and I'll show you how we're going to do that next, it'll kind of help move some of that Daffodil Delight ink into places that maybe I didn't originally get it. So now this one, I kind of like to use a little bit of a circular coloring motion. So it takes you back to the day, way back when you could just sit and color and enjoy life, right? And this watercolor paper, it gives it a little bit of a texture almost as I'm doing this. And it's almost like it's not filling in the pig very well, I guess I would say. But just watch, like it's magic, what is going to happen next. We are going to use, we have an Aquapainter that I've filled the reservoir just with water. I think that helps it kind of blend a little bit more. You can also put rubbing alcohol in here, but I don't think that makes it look quite as watercolory. And then we are also, because the flower and the leaf are so tiny, we are going to use our blender pen. So I'm going to start with that because it's a little bit harder to even see what I'm doing with this, but the blender pen just kind of smooths that old olive ink and kind of, I don't know, shades it a little bit more, I guess I'd say. I am just kind of rubbing this off in the corner of my paper to get that green ink off. I was just kind of over there doing, kind of rubbing that off because I don't want to transfer the green color into this yellow Daffodil Delight flower. So can you see how it kind of helped me move a little bit of the yellow color in places where maybe I didn't actually color it in with the pencil? And again, I'm just kind of wiping that off over in the corner of my work paper. Now, because this is I think the part that you're going to be able to see a little bit more. So again, this is filled with water, and I'm just going to kind of take this, and I don't even think you have to squeeze it. Just as you're kind of using it, it naturally lets a little bit of water flow out of the reservoir into kind of the paintbrush of the Aquapainter. Do you see how that's just kind of smoothing it out? I mean, honestly, it's like you feel like an artist, even though I am clearly not an artist, but it just, I don't know, for that little moment in time, it makes you feel like an artist. So I'm just kind of smoothing this out. I kind of want to bring a little bit more color over there. So that's the one thing that I don't know a lot about, and maybe you all do. So you could shade this a little bit better. I'm sure there are parts where it should be lighter versus darker, and I just don't know that very well. But I'm still happy with kind of the look of my little piggy there and the coloring. So that's basically all you do. Then, because this looks a little pink, I'm just going to kind of wipe that off over in the corner of my work paper. I don't know if you guys can even see me doing that. I'm trying to keep this neat so I can use it again another time instead of getting ink and stamps and everything all over it. So that is basically it for the kind of watercoloring that we're going to do. So now we can start putting our card together, which is kind of like the fun, easy part. And you know what I learned kind of the hard way? I was making this card, and my paper, when I'm not filming a video, is a total mess. There's like ink and stamps everywhere. And I flipped this over to put adhesive on the back of him, and then he was still a little bit wet, and he picked up some of like a black or a blue ink that was on my work paper. So that's not going to happen today because there's nothing on it, but I'm still going to let him dry just for a minute or two. So let's put the rest of our card together first. So why don't we put, this is just the Whisper White piece. We're going to put this on the inside of our card. So that's a really easy one. We can just knock that out right now. So I'm just getting some, it didn't work very well, adhesive on the Whisper White piece, and we're going to put that on the inside there. Then I am going to use my Fast Fuse because it has all of the texture on this paper. I think we need a little bit more like heavy duty adhesive on this piece. I'm going to flip this over and put it on the front right here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Then the other thing next, what I want to do is that fun Night of Navy gingham ribbon. I'm going to tie that around my card, and I think it's easiest, just pull a bunch of ribbon off the bolt to work with. Let's make sure that that's straight, because you can always kind of slide this down your card. Just make a knot, and then I'll show you how we can kind of move it down to the bottom of our card where we want it. So that's all I'm doing, is just tying a knot with this ribbon, okay? And that looks good. I'm gonna kind of, careful, you don't want to pull too hard because I have kind of ripped like a little hole almost, if you will, inside there. So you want to be a little bit careful with that. I'm gonna snip that guy off because I just want some cute little tails on the end of that ribbon. Okay, we got that. Then I think that feels dry enough. I think it'll be okay. I'm going to add a little bit of Fast Fuse because this is pretty thick cardstock, that watercolor paper. And put that guy on there. Add him on, move him where I like. Okay, and then a little bit more Fast Fuse to hold him because he's he's pretty thick with 2 sheets of cardstock, right? And then we're putting him on a piece that has been embossed. So we want to make sure that it stays on really, really well. And then our last little finishing touch, I forgot my paper snip, so I'm going to try this with my fingers. I'm going to grab one of our new pearls here, and I'm going to just stick that right in the middle of my flower. And there we go. Oh my gosh, what a cute, you make me happy. Wouldn't that be fun? There are so many people I can think of to send a card like this to. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this card and kind of learning to do a little bit of watercoloring there. Hope you enjoy this stamp set. I hope you were inspired today. Please become a subscriber on my YouTube channel if you are not already. I am hoping to post a video every single week. So anything that I've been working on in classes or just for fun, I'm going to be making videos on. So stop back again soon. Sign up as a subscriber to my YouTube channel so you never miss out on a thing. Also, if you want more regular inspiration, trying to find my sheet here, go to my website, which is at Gathering Ink with a K, excuse me, Inkspiration.com. I've got lots of projects, tips, tricks, tutorials on there. When you find something that you like from either my blog or the YouTube channel, make sure you shop on my online store at amysuzanne.stampinup.net. Shop anytime. Make sure you use the host code too. You'll find that on my blog. It's over on the right hand side, the toolbar there. When you spend at least $50, use that host code, then you get a fun free goodie. Some probably at this point right now, we're in August right now, I'm going to be able to get something out of the new holiday catalog. So that'll be fun to surprise everybody with something fun new from the holiday catalog that we can just be ordering right now. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day and thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.